Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I am not really sure what is going to happen during this video. I recorded a video last week, and I tried to improve on a few things like the camera and sound, and I was just overthinking it. And I had a script that I wrote, and I was going to tell you this, story about how I started and how I got to where I'm at. And although the content was good, I watched it. I even posted it for a second, and it just didn't feel like it was me. Um, a lot of the conversations that I have with clients and my team and family, right? It's never scripted, So the knowledge is all up here. So today I just thought I would just get on and kind of just tell you my story, without too much preparation. If we go back to my college years, I studied international relations. Um, I was on the dean's list, and I had written one of the best senior capstone theses that the department had ever seen. Um, and they invited me to attend and be a part of the Model UN, where I wrote arms trade contracts. Um, yeah, I thought I was on my way to becoming a diplomat. But I got into music, and being a diplomat didn't seem really like a career path that I wanted to take. I was already making money of music production and DJing and throwing events and residencies, even when I was 18, going through college. So uh, I thought that was my career path because I loved doing it. It made me feel good. And it was just something new, something exciting. Um, Yeah, so I went through with that in a while. I got into food and beverage. I needed some type of day job after college to pay the bills while I pursued my music career at night and worked on production. I worked with some Michelin rated chefs. So I got to eat and learn a lot about food and wine and sake, and uh, that was a great experience. It became a little bit too labor intensive, so I was looking for some type of alternative work for home solution. Um, and this was definitely over a decade ago, maybe 15, long time, right? So I was kind of working from home at that point. I guess I've always been, for quite some time now. But I was doing it before it became like real popular, with COVID and whatnot. But anyway, I found a job uh, performing sales for a consumer goods services company. Um, so that was interesting. It turned out that I was really good at talking to people, because of my research and writing background through school. I was able to learn product knowledge and apply that to potential and clients' needs. So naturally, I just understood exactly what it was that I was selling. It was interesting seeing wins here and there, and dealing with manufacturing, and uh, but it's a completely different ball game. We started getting like app and software submissions instead of consumer goods, and I really gravitated towards that. It was exciting, kind of like how music was at one point for me. It was brand new, mobile apps haven't been around for the longest time. So when you're working in consumer goods and everyone's had ideas to create consumer goods for for however long, right? Like since the beginning of humanity, right? In a sense, compare that with such a tiny little window when it comes to creating apps and having app ideas. Like if you think about it, it really hasn't been a long time. So I think one of the biggest misconceptions with being in the app space is like, oh, there's already an app for everything. That is not true. In fact, I've been running my business for uh, over going on 7, 8 years now, and not one project that we work on does not have some type of unfair advantage in the marketplace. Meaning, we've only worked with clients who are ambitious, who have emerging tech type of ideas, something that hasn't been introduced to the marketplace. We've done things like teeth recognition engines when there was only facial recognition engines. Um, we basically bypassed like operating systems to lock in fun educational screensavers. That was a project that was actually licensed by AT&T. Um, we've done quite a bit. We're branching off into AI now, and the possibilities with all of these LLMs, or things like ChatGPT, are just opening up an even broader spectrum of what's possible out there. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that you know software has only been around for so long. I mean, it's such a large, ambitious future for what you could possibly do. And there always seems to be a way to make something better or disruptive. And I think I love that part of the business. To me, apps and having your app on your phone, and it's just something that was just so cool and fascinating, um, that I gravitated towards it. I've done quite a bit in my 7 years. I've also made a lot of mistakes. Starting out, it was just me, and I had to do what was best to hire the best talent that I could get my hands on at the time. I remember I spent, geez, maybe 1 to 2 years, like really planning it out before I even took the giant leap on starting my own company. And a big part of that was making sure that I had the right developers there to fulfill the needs that I saw that were coming into the marketplace. Um, and like I said, we've had some great success stories. We got to a point where I was interested in scaling, and anytime you're trying to scale a business, there's always growing pains. I had to learn to give up a lot of responsibility that I was taking on. Handling potential clients, current clients, the back end, developers, designers, project managers. It's interesting juggling all of those hats and responsibilities, and then building something that's provided for you in ways that you couldn't ever imagine. uh you know it was hard to let go of some responsibility. And even though it was difficult, I did, and we had some great years. We were growing. But I'll admit, in terms of production and quality control, we definitely ran into some bottlenecks there. Um, One thing that I wish that I knew previously, was the importance of documenting systems. Um, I'm kind of like, fortunately enough, maybe when I get older, it won't work out this way, but my memory is just, like I always know every single task or every project or every step of the way that we're at with any given project at any time. Um, I possess that knowledge. I knew what to do in specific situations. So, translating the way that I do things, which is all internal, to someone externally, and expecting them to deliver the same quality that helped us gain huge strides, like licensing deals, seven-figure raises, working with Fortune 500 companies. Having our individual clients succeed and gaining hundreds of thousands of users. Making themselves competitive in a local environment. um, a lot of that hands-on uh, service that I was used to giving so dearly to everyone didn't necessarily translate to the next person that came in and tried to, I guess, help fill those shoes. So I wish that I had documented and created systems in place, and created a step-by-step process of how I ran and organized operations. Um, so I got into a bit of a situation where I had to take a step back. I stopped taking on new clients at one point because we had a pretty great group of projects that we were already working on, and I wanted to make sure that we were taking the proper time to get those systems in place before we started expanding again. Um, and we've done exceptionally well there. I went out and made a huge hire, somebody that's been working as a technologist for 25 plus years, who started at IBM back in the day, who has held director of software programming positions for large companies, Fortune 500 companies. Um, so really getting that type of expertise on board to help out and build out those systems for me when it comes to development was so important. Um, yeah. Uh, Also, just making sure that we're continuously upgrading our um, project management tools, that the communication stays consistent. I'm always doing everything I can to learn from every mistake that I make so that, the next project that we work on, we prevent them from making those mistakes. It's been a long 7 years. I feel like we're just getting started. I really feel like our team is in a good position right now. Like we've just been sharpening the saw and focusing on the clientele that we have and current projects, which are really exciting. And I man, uh, my clients are so awesome. Like they all. Uh, I've really built this in a position to attract the ideal working partnership. So, I'm only working with clients who are extremely ambitious, who have some type of unfair advantage in the marketplace, who are confident, who are resourceful, who have large networks, who are, if if worst comes to worst, they're willing to go knock on doors, so to speak, metaphorically. But people that are driven, that love their concept, they want to pursue it, and they just really need a solid team behind them to help them do a lot of the things that they don't want to worry about, like design or development or project management. We help out in other areas too. Um, anyway, instead of making this turn into a commercial on Integral, this really was just something to kind of get the channel running. I didn't want to be held back by trying to be perfect, which is another big mistake I see clients and projects make. See, I can literally go on and on, but one of the biggest mistakes I see is clients waiting to launch because and I think it has a lot to do with the psychology, just being an entrepreneur, there's ups and downs and you're basically it's your coming out party when you launch, you want it to be successful. So I think that holds a lot of people back from taking that step because they don't really understand the how the cycle works of early adoption. Um, and to kind of make sure that we always have some structure in place, we follow the lean startup. I've got the book right up there. I talk about this with everybody, in my network. We've been following the lean startup and, the perfect innovation circle, and for the entirety of our of the business's lifespan, for a reason because it works, and especially for startups or we're starting to work with enterprises. If you just follow the 7 steps, which I could make another YouTube video for, it looks like I've already have a lot of good ideas for the future. Um, but yeah, that's my recap on Integral and how I got started in app development. I'm a dad, I'm a husband, and the ability to kind of create my own schedule and have that type of freedom to be there for doctor's appointments for my son. I like to think that my lifestyle is very similar to the lifestyle that my clients are looking to achieve. They're all very successful businessmen and women, high salaried career men, C-suite level executives who are uh, not only looking to push the barrier with their concept and bring something beautiful to life, but it's also a means of helping them achieve their own personal success in terms of true wealth, which is time. So I can apply a lot of what I've done for myself to how my clients run their businesses, and I think that's why when we find the right people to work with, it's a good fit. Um, but yeah, if you liked what you heard today, I'm happy to share more. Send any questions that you may have. I'm looking for tons of content. I want to talk about how best to use ChatGPT through the app development process, and even using it on how to develop your ideas, and also for specific things like load management that ChatGPT can help you understand about your app and the capacity that it can hold given your server, your database, the code, etc., and the APIs. Um, anyway, I don't want to get too technical. We can definitely go there, but I think that that's great for now. Please like, share, and subscribe if you want to hear more. It'll really help me and understand what it is that I can do to contribute to your own personal path in life. So until next time, thank you and have a good one.